Hi and welcome to Jen's Ink Spot. Today I have a quick video to show you using this new stamp set called Every Minute Stamp Set from Catherine Pooler Designs. I want to show you how to add this clock to the selections that you already have. This is a twin bell alarm and I've just added the little bells at the top. This is super simple to do with the stamps and dies already included in this set. So this is the clocks we're going to use. We're going to use both of these circle clocks, and then we're going to use this die. This die is what is going to create the bells on each of the clocks. As you can see, it cuts out the frame, and then this little piece in the middle here also cuts out. Here's an example of what it looks like with it punched out, and this is the part that's left over. This little part is the part we're going to use to make the bells on the clock. So you don't have to do any fussy cutting, you don't have to do anything extra. It's just simply coloring those pieces and sticking them on. So it's super simple. Let's get started. Here are the two clocks that we're going to use. I've already pre-stamped them and die cut them so that they would be ready to go. And here are the little extra pieces. So there's several ways to color these pieces. Probably the quickest and fastest is just to ink them up directly in your ink pad. Now usually I would cover this with a piece of paper or use a spatula or something, but for time I just use my fingers, which of course makes an inky mess. So you can do this any way you want, but this is just a quick and easy way to get those colored. Now if you want a less messy way, just swipe your ink pad directly on some paper. So I've already done some here, but just as an example, you just put the ink on there. That adds your color to the paper, and then you're just going to die cut that paper to make the little pieces. Now you can see here that I have two pieces for each colored clock ready to go and colored. And now I'm going to adhere them to the clocks. So I like to use glue dots for this, and you can also use tape, or you could use foam dimensional, whatever you want that's easy for you to use, but I like to use the glue dots because it's super simple. And I put 4 on each one, and especially for the pink one I want to get them clear down to the bottom because there's not as much to attach them to on the pink. So once I get the 4 dots on here, you can see an example of it, excuse my inky fingers, then I'm just going to attach it to the top of one of those little knobs. Those are supposed to be the stands, of course, that the clock stands on the counter or whatever, but tonight we're using it for the alarms to sit on. So I do that again, just continue to do that until I have 4 on the next one. And I just love the glue dots because they're so simple, and then just stick it on as well, and then you might have to arrange them a little bit differently so that they both fit on there the way that you want them to, and then you have your little alarm. Now you just will have to stamp the face of it. So I'm going to do the same thing with the green one now. Now that I have the bells adhered to my green clock as well, now I'm going to take my powder tool, and you can see on the back that the glue dots kind of come through the back. My powder tool is going to just take that stickiness off the back so that when I'm sticking it to my cardstock, that's not sticking to the paper where I don't want it, and they're just nice and clean on the back for me to adhere however I would like. I went ahead and stamped the images of my clock off camera. I didn't think you probably needed to see how I did that, but I used the images that are included in the stamp set. And now I'm going to use this sentiment. Now for my sentiment, I just stamped it repeatedly on the front of my cardstock. I like to do that because it makes an easy background. And I wanted to make sure that you could see one full image of the sentiment, and then everything else would be stamped and placed around that. So you can see I stamped it right in the middle, and I have my clocks right above it, so I knew exactly where I wanted to put them at. Instead of using foam adhesive on the back, I decided to use these action wobbles. They're the mini size on the back of these clocks. They were perfect for this card, and I figure these are clocks that are alarms and they're going to ring, and so the action just seemed like it was appropriate for this card. I also added some sequins that you can see on here as well. Thank you so much for joining me today at Jen's Ink Spot.